So from Alabama, never probably traveled all the country before, right?
At 21 years old, bro.
Get sent to Poland, has no fucking idea what a Jolte is, right? And
Yeah.
it's getting paid
No,
about $100 a month, which obviously in Poland, if you have your expenses paid, you can still not die out that, but it's not much, even in 2018. Take me through that.
if you've been around black people, two black guys in one small hotel room is not going to go well at all.
A lot of people don't say what they're going to do, especially overseas. And going back to my original point, who the fuck are we going to call? USA rules don't matter.
I worked one job my whole life. I worked at McDonald's when I got kicked out of college. I didn't think highly of myself. Nobody told me how, what my ceiling was. Just being outside of home and seeing what people are allowing me to do, utilize my gifts, that made me realize that, man, I'm really blessed.
A good lesson for every single person is once you step out of the little comfort zone and you take the arrows and the sticks and the stones that everyone throws at you or society and you beat it, then the universe is like, oh, this dude is real. This dude is not a joke. So let's give him a push. Let's give him some energy. And they throw shit at you that you would never imagine in your life. Just like you said, middle of fucking nowhere, Alabama, from my opinion, to now world traveler, 7 years in Europe and now maybe a rugby career. And he ends up one of the greatest coaches in Australia.
It was the most strange thing ever. This is a city where I think it's like 5,000 people. I'm like one of the first black guys. So all these people are just walking up, taking pictures. And I'm just like, bro.
So if I go to that city, I'm going to be treated like a king if I say I know you?
I guarantee you, if you go to that city and say you know me, you get whatever you fucking want. If you go to that city, you say you know me. Yeah.
I talk so much about this internet, how about it's like Pandora's box and the evils of it and whatnot, but it is allowing you to get these perceptions down. It's on you to find the good ones and not consume the bad ones, but there's a ton of people on this internet trying to expand your limiting beliefs and give you the courage and the motivation to do it. Buenos dias, no more boy GI. I'm in Peru, Espanol. So far, not too bad. I like this Lima. It's a lot more frio, but still good weather, 70 to 80 degrees. Something new, fresh. I was in Brazil for way too long. I love Brazil, but you know how it is. My guest today, where you just gotta refresh the brain, right? So I got a dude on here. We've been kind of never had a conversation until now. Shot back on the Instagrams, the social medias. We live in a very similar world with the overseas football life. I got this in the background. It's this old video game. Some of you might have played. It's called Mercenaries. And that is our life, for 6 months of the year. Now you're doing more with the rugby as well, but we go into a place, we're expected to lead. We're expected to perform. We get paid. We have all the pressure. If you do good, everything's great. If you don't, bye-bye. There's a lot of drama in this interesting lifestyle. So I want to talk. Now, Davion, am I pronouncing that right?
Yes.
Davion,
yeah, that's correct.
Young, you're a veteran in this overseas life, man. It's been a ride or what?
Man, it's been a crazy ride, but I would never trade any of this for anything. Like all the bad stuff I've been through, never would trade anything else. I would go back and do this all over again just to have experiences like this.
And how long you been doing it for?
This is my upcoming 7 years now.
7 years. List the places quick.
U.S., Poland, Brazil, Romania, Germany, and that's in upcoming Serbia next year. So about 5 or 6 places.
Damn, and you've been doing the year round, or you're going back to the States sometimes?
No, this year round. Sometimes I think I just started doing year round 2 years ago in 21. I don't think I could do that again.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, that's tough.
Now tell me, because a lot of people ask this when I say okay, I'm a part-time professional athlete. They're like, what? Football overseas. Well, what country? And they always want to know about the money, right? And obviously we're not paid like we're in the States, of course. Kind of factor in what you've been getting, how you survive off it. Is it a lifestyle that you can save, or is it just kind of like, hey, I'm going to enjoy the experience and build something while I'm doing it?
Well, it depends on for my situation, it just depends on the country that I've been to. Like, for example, Poland, you've been here, you played here, what you can, what you can save, how you can live off of. The currency difference is crazy compared to Poland to Romania to Serbia and stuff like that, especially Brazil. So it's the lifestyle is just, it's so different than what I really thought it was when I first came over here. So the pay, my pay just keeps going up. So it's easier to save now than it was. I think it was like 2 years ago. But it comes down to like, how you utilize your money and like what are you spending on. So for me, it was tough to save my money, depending on which country it was in. But now it's just like, I know how to get around a lot more cheaper than I used to think. So it's pretty solid now. I can just live off of like, a couple 200 solid, depends on where it is. But Germany was the toughest place because it's kind of expensive out there.
Yeah, no doubt. I think people, especially Americans, have this misconception about like money and how the rest of the world operates. But man, these people, example in Brazil, my amiga, she's a lawyer. She's in charge of 9 people underneath her, and she's working on a $20 million USD case, and she's making $600 a month. I was making more to throw the football around twice a week and play 2 games a month in Brazil. I mean, that should kind of put things into perspective of like, wow, this high-paying lawyer job, $600 a month, right? A lot of Americans don't kind of understand how, one, blessed the cost of living in the USA is, the amount of opportunity, but a lot of the world, they're not making $1,000 a month. I mean, that's a lot of money to a lot of people. It's a perception change for a lot.
I agree. Man. Wow. Yeah, you're right.
Brazil's a wicked case, man, because it's a very inequality, type country where I think you got like the ultra wealthy, and you have like a big class that considered a middle class, but they're just getting by. Like my amiga, getting paid scraps for the amount of work she's doing, and then you have like a 30% class that is, borderline slaves, right? The favela types, they're living on nothing, in huts, no running water. So Brazil is an extreme example, but shit, in Poland. I was pulling in a decent chunk of change compared to what the average person was making during their job. And the cost of living was fantastic. And in our lifestyle, too, they pay for the rent. Usually get some food, the phone bill. Like, you don't have expenses, right? So you're kind of it's like a paid vacation, a lot of people, say.
Yes, totally agree with that. To actually retouch on what you just said, like when I was in Caxias do Sul, that was damn near what what our president was making at his job too. And I'm like, bro, that's really not as much as I thought it was. But I think 2019, it kind of it was a little bit lower, I think, because times kind of changed like since COVID. But man, you like every time I see you post your content about Brazil and like whatnot, man, it's really eye opening to see like how much times have changed and how different the other side of the world really is compared to where you were then and now. And it's just like, man, it's so astonishing to actually see all of this just take place right now in this very time.
Where in Brazil were you?
I was in Caxias do Sul. It was towards the south, I believe. I wasn't up north.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole different beast. Brazil is way different. The different regions and the areas, and like I totally thought I was going to Africa with huts and the machete in the Northeast.
Yeah,
and I come to find it was crazy. It was developed huge buildings. Clean, safe. There was the hut shit, but it was more interior. The rich people stay. By the beach, of course.
Yes.
But Brazil is a fascinating place. It's probably one of the most interesting, awesome, crazy. It's just the vibe in Brazil is different, man. It's something that's very hard to put into words.
They love to have fun, man. Them people love to have some fun and some barbecue a little bit. Just a little.
No. But hey, here's the big thing why I reached out to you. Because obviously we've been going back and forth. I like what you do, throwing all that content out there, and Jay Willie said good things about you, etc. But I just went through kind of an interesting situation in what I thought was paradise. I love my situation, and it's still not confirmed. We don't know kind of what is going to happen. But I was thinking long term. I'm like, I'm going to go buy a place here. Everything is Hakuna Matata, and we lost. And, when you lose, all of a sudden things real shit, right? What's thing. And so I went through this, and I've been to a couple of different places and had similar experiences, but one or so I've seen on both ends, or it's flipped. And I don't know, tell me about that, man, because like me and you, we're in a lonely world, right? It's just us, our balls, and how good we can play, basically. and
Mm-hmm.
you come and you go, so it's hard to really totally develop relationships, or they don't want to because they've seen so many imports, and sometimes you feel like a piece of meat, right? And that's tough when your family's way away. You don't know who's a true friend, who's not. So yeah, I kind of went through a little situation currently, and I wanted to talk to you about how you've dealt with that, and what do you think about that overall philosophy of the lone wolf position we've put ourselves in.
Well, I had to learn a lot at age 21. Man, I came over here. I'm only 27, so I came over here when I was young. Didn't know nothing about no overseas, no currency, like no none of that, bro. So the way I dealt with that stuff was, man, I had to remember like why I'm really here. I didn't understand my purpose at the time, but I had to remind myself day in and day out that it's not it's not it's not as bad as people like it's not as bad as people making it seem like it was. But for stuff that I had to handle on my own, being that lone wolf, I just had to, just enjoy what I had right then and there. Because again, I'm still young. I didn't really understand anything that was going on. I'm just here playing football, thinking it was professional, but I'm in my own little world. But I've came across situations where I've had I left my girlfriend back home, and I had had my first European thing here. So it was it was so crazy. But man, it's just I don't even know how to put that stuff in words, man, because I've been in so many situations overseas where I didn't even know what to do myself or who I could turn to. Because then again, I found myself in a lot of difficult situations where I couldn't trust a lot of people here either, because they don't have the same mindset as Americans have, and they definitely have not experienced the same things Americans have experienced either. It's hard to actually explain that, man. It's really hard to.
So wait, how have you dealt with it then? Just like fuck it, move on, keep moving
Just like
forward.
just had to, man. That's like I just had to keep moving forward, even though I knew for a fact I would always regret doing something stupid. I'm just like, man, fuck it. If something were to happen, something were to happen. So I just kept moving forward. But little did I know, later on in life, I would always come back to that problem that I ran into earlier on in my career. So COVID happens. Now I'm stuck. Now I'm stuck in Poland. And so I'm around the same people. I'm seeing the same females that I've had to deal with, and so, it's just I'm basically running to the same problems. And now I'm just in Poland during COVID in a hotel room, not knowing what to do. So my mind's going crazy. You know how it was during COVID. You know how you just couldn't think straight. You're wondering if everything's going to be okay, if everything's going to go back to normal. My mind's going crazy. So at this time, my mind's just thinking, damn, bro, like, what am I really going to do? Because I really don't have that many connects out here like I thought I did. So I just had to keep pushing and just, have faith that something will happen.
Taking care of you still or no?
Man, they didn't pay us for like 3 months. So the only thing that we had was, we had food, we had shelter. So that's all I was good with. As long as we had those two, I was okay. But it's like, man, I need some money because you know how it is, like, just being broke. You don't want, it's not a good feeling, honestly. But this is like this is my third year. 2020, I think, was my third year. So again, I'm still young, not knowing how to operate around here. So
it was just like, in that hotel in Poland, they didn't send you home.
No, man, because I kept
thinking it was going to happen. They kept thinking the season was going to happen. It was just going to be 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So it was like, but then again, it was just my will of, I think this was one of my wake up calls that is saying, hey, you're in a whole different situation to where you thought you were going to be way before you even thought about coming to Europe. So take advantage of it. And I didn't realize that until I think the season actually came. So I'm like, okay, it's here. I've actually got what I wanted, but I'm still not around people I trust. So just do what you got to do. Take care of yourself and just have fun. Whatever happens, happens. Because remind you, we're getting our ass kicked all year. So I mean, getting our ass kicked all year. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just having fun. So I'm meeting new people, and now I'm starting to really get familiar with how things work out here. So I'm just figuring this stuff out as I go. As I'm keeping pushing, I'm just figuring out as I go.
Okay, so let me ask you this. I don't think a lot of people understand being in the situation where you get flown to a foreign country,
Mm-hmm.
with you're on a team that you're expected to
Uh-huh.
lead on. A lot of them don't necessarily speak your language. There's massive
Uh-huh.
cultural differences. You're basically the only one getting paid. Everyone expects you to take them to the promised land, and then doing that in a different team each season in a different country. Like, how do you handle that type of pressure? Because a lot of people, look, they get their normal job, right? Oh, I'm a little worried for 2 weeks, and they're in that job for 3 4 years, right? Or they're not thrust into totally new environments with people, and especially expected to lead, right? That's what we
Yeah.
have to do every freaking year, in different
Yep.
cultures, different languages. How do you process that? How do you succeed with it?
I just goes back to like what I said earlier. I said I had to remind myself I had one job and what I really came here to do. So I had to remind myself that. But I would always run into situations and like problems where you know guys would feel as if I didn't deserve to be paid this because their level of expectations of how Americans should play was a lot different than what ours is like. So just being that one guy on the team and just having them look to you as someone that has to do something in certain situations. I just feel like that it's only so much you can do. For me, it was only so much I could do because my hands were tied. So I'm back in Poland at this time, and every country as an American import has different rules and limits. It was hard being that one guy in Poland, playing in Poland at that time, because and I'm just speaking on the one time that I've been here, because Poland was my most unique experience dealing with this situation. Just being that one guy, how they pressure you is just, it can be nerve wracking, but sometimes it's like, man, I can only do so much. They're paying you to do this. They're expecting you to do this much, and so on, so on. But for me, I feel like you're definitely going to need, if you're an American coming to play for these overseas teams, you're definitely going to need some help from these domestic guys, because it's not a one man team.
Yeah, it's football.
You could,
It's the
yeah,
biggest team sport in the world. But more so, like, expand on this idea with me. You know what I mean? Like, this is not normal life. Okay,
it's
normal life,
not.
you get sent to different places and expected to lead grown men who have families,
Uh-huh.
who have
Yeah,
jobs, who have wives. They're not getting paid. They're sacrificing their hours, and you're getting paid. Like, and you're thrown in these situations, like, and you can't fold. You can't really be weak. Like, this is what you're paid to do. You're a freaking mercenary, and you got to make it happen, right? I think it's
yeah,
it's it's super unique, bro. Like, it's not like a
it
CEO
is.
switches each business each year, in different countries, right? And I think
Yeah,
the skill set to have that, the self confidence, the ability to be alone, the ability to not fit in and still put your shoulders up is
yeah.
is pretty unique. That will last definitely until you get older, of the rest of your life. What do you think about that idea about this lifestyle?
It's not for everybody, but man, like I said, I would not. It's free travel. You're seeing a lot of stuff that the world, like half the world, doesn't even see. You're experiencing, a lot of stuff that the world doesn't get to experience. And now that you see both, it's like, holy crap! Like, I get to go. Like, sometimes it's good to go back home and just realize what you have compared to what you had over here. Because just being a mercenary on these situations, man. Like, some of it's worth it, but some of it's not. You know, but a lot of the times you're put in so many situations, leaving family and friends, where it's like, man, sometimes this stuff is worth it, honestly. And I really wouldn't trade. Like I said, man, I would not trade nothing for experiences like this, because it's not everybody gets them. Not everybody gets these experiences.
100%. No, I'm addicted to it. That's why I keep doing it. I don't need to do it for the money, but I love
Exactly.
the feeling of the going to war with the teammates who hopefully soon become brothers. I love the feeling of competition. There's nothing that you can replicate. No drug, no beach, no sex that can replicate the emotions of going on the field. Even if you have 100 fans,
Yeah.
it doesn't freaking matter, bro. Like, winning, playing football is addicting. And like you said, the benefits that come with this, you're put in that top dog role already. So you're kind of a
Hmm.
mini celebrity. The places you go, obviously you're getting paid, the housing, you have a community behind you. So, like,
Yeah.
normally when I go to Lima, luckily I developed a good connection with the digital nomads and whatnot. So I had some, help beforehand, or, hey, we should do this, you shouldn't do this, make sure, etc. But when we get thrown in these situations, they handle most of it, And if you need someone, hey, I want something from the doctor, or I need to get a prescription, there's a pharmacist on your team, or there's this and that, and you're connected in a foreign country, like that. So no question, like, dude, I'm so grateful I did this. I find it, the whole, okay, with big things, the big responsibility type quote, where in the end, yes, you get all these fun stuff, but you need to do your end of it and take them to the promised land, or it was kind of like bye-bye. So
exactly. And guys come over here all the time. They don't understand that it could be something that you can enjoy so much, or it could be a total disaster if you don't take it serious, because some of these teams really do take this stuff extremely serious, but they also know, like, the time and place to have fun, so I think it's unique how, some
that's
teams can separate.
You made a great point. Is a lot of these dudes are doing this for fun too. So a lot of them don't necessarily want to, they're not getting paid. Like I said, they have responsibilities. They're doing it for love, and they're doing it for fun. So they're going to have a lot of fun. They might practice a little lazy. They might not show up to practice, but you can't fall into that because you're the one getting paid and you have to make up for that, right? And so that is kind of a predicament where, you get the bus rides and we're getting fucking hammered, and then everyone's getting naked and shit. And that's after you win. So, okay, that's great. But, you have to slow down. Like, these dudes, you have a game on Saturday and some are drinking on the Friday night. It's like, oh, come on, just go to the bar with me. I said, I got to be a professional, Like, if I'm hungover for this game, we're gonna fucking lose, and then everyone's gonna be mad because nobody likes losing. They're on this team, putting those effort in, those hours of free time, away from their family to fucking win too, and that's on you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and most of the times, and that's a small percentage of guys. That's not a lot of guys out here, but situations where you're gonna find some people like that. You may have a teammate every now and then that you may see that won't take it serious, but a lot of the times, man, teams are so, teams know when the time and place when to be, turn this into a business, but also a family. Now, I don't know. I'm not the type of person that believes, these organizations are really a family, but the bond and sometimes this chemistry is so dangerous. It makes you just think like, oh my God, like, this makes you feel so welcome. Like, a lot of these teams and like situations can make you feel so welcome, like going from country to country. I know for a fact, like, some Brazilians a lot of them, I'm not going to say some, but most of my Brazilian friends, most of my Romanian friends, I've hardly had any bad experiences out here inside the team. Never. Because those guys have made you feel so welcome. And some guys understand you're away from family and friends. So you need some of this, some of these things to, like, remain stable and, have a clear conscience out here. So I think the biggest thing is the connections that you have with these guys, because again, a lot of these guys you're not going to have connections with anywhere else, and it's just unique. Every country or every place you go, it's just going to be so unique.
I think I totally agree. They always bring the import in, try to make a family. Hey, come do this with us, show you around. They want to show the culture, the city, etc. I think where I struggle with it is like, okay, do you actually like really like me? You want to be my friend? Or is it like, okay, hey, he's the guy that's coming in here as the merc, to do his job. And is it like a facade, right? And maybe that's on me. Cause like, I know for a fact too, like I travel year round, dude. And like, I know things aren't lasting necessarily. For every 100 people I meet, maybe I stay in contact with 2 or 3 of them, right? And so maybe I don't open myself up because I know, okay, well, it's 6 months. Also, I'm attached to this guy, and we're best friends. And boom, I gotta go. Like, that's not easy. I'm a Cancer. I have a lot of emotions, right? And so maybe it is on me too. But I think I get this feeling sometimes. It's like, okay, if I saw you at the bar, you wouldn't be treating me the same. Obviously, of course, because, we're not together on the team and we're doing this thing. But I think I struggle with that because I like to live very authentically. Okay. And that's caused lots of problems. It's been amazing. It's the reason why my life is so fucking dope. But it's a problem I have with with these relationships because I never honestly don't know what's real until after the fact. Okay. Until like 3-4 months
Exactly.
down the road, after I'm long gone, okay, who am I still talking to? Oh, this dude, said that, like, I had, Eagle,
Yeah.
Low Anders kid. I still have stuff at his place in Warsaw. I'm like, okay, this is a real motherfucker. Like, like he's taking every time I come into Warsaw. I came like 3 different times back to Poland from Spain, Albania, Thailand. Hey, stay at my place. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, yeah, this is legit. So that's where I just struggle because like when I'm gonna be it reminds me of Brazil. You could be out in the bar and meet someone and you're the best friends ever that night and then never talk to them again. And it's just like,
Never.
what? Like that's just not how maybe I grew up or how I treat relationships. So
That's true. Like, nah, you're actually right about that. And I'm really open, like, with who I am as a person, and like I have nothing to lie about, nothing to hide. Like who I am is who I am. I can connect with anybody so easily. But for me, with these overseas, like, relationships, I know for a fact who's for real and who's not. Like, it's so easy to tell, like, some of these guys are not going to invite you into their homes, and a lot of times I really believe that some like majority of these people only care about your talents, not you. I think it's a 50-50. 50% guys care about, who you are as a person, but you're gonna know later on down the road, like you said. But 50% only care about, you as an athlete. They only love your talents, not really you. It's a funny feeling, but for me, I know who's true and who's not. So that's why, I gotta be careful about really what I say and how I act towards people, because that's just me. Like, I can't like I know for a fact I'm not going to talk to most of these guys 3 to 4 months from now too. So
yeah, see, it goes both ways. I think
yeah.
what amplifies all this is so for 6 months I'm doing the professional life, and then another 6 months I'm doing the digital nomad, just traveling, right? And the relationships you make with the football, because you're going to war with people. People get very hurt in this game. People mess their fucking brains up. And those emotions, that brotherhood, like, high school football, college football, those are some of your best bros to this day,
Yeah.
right? I always talk about the stories, like, this time, that time, because you're so close. Those hours of practicing, going to the field, like winning, losing, like it's a deep bond. It's way deeper bond than any relationship you make. Oh, I'm traveling over here and I meet this person. We stay connected. You don't go through pain. You don't go through sacrifices. You don't go through extreme highs, extreme lows.
Yeah.
And I think that's why these relationships get amplified to the extreme, because you're packing a shit ton of time, emotion, and feelings into such a short a period, especially when you're in a foreign place where your eyes are wide open and there's new things going around in culture and time. It slows down a lot. For me, traveling, everything slows down. I mean, when I was in Thailand last year, it feels like 5 years ago, right? Because you pack so many experiences that it's like, holy shit. And that's kind of how I relate these relationships, that there's so much passion going into such a little amount of time that it gets me like, whew, what the fuck?
That is true. I definitely agree.
Hey, you said something. You said, okay, the some teams or a lot of the teams are families. They're not paid. They do this for love of it. They build something. It's pride for the city. But you also said, like, okay, or they're a business. I don't think there's many businesses. Like, I don't think many of them are turning profit for one. And most definitely, they don't know how to run businesses, because I've seen some good managers, but every single one of them, there's money issues, of course. And how many dudes have been fucked over, not paid, not getting what they're signed. I had a situation in Brazil. My first team here, I left. They didn't fucking pay me. They didn't put for my last month. And then so my GM and my head coach, who's American, they left. I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta get out of here too. This is a train wreck, right? But they didn't have. I was in 3 different places in like 3 months. They switched it. There was no washer machine. All these different things they said. They didn't reimburse me for my full plane ticket right away. I said, okay. When I first met them, I'll extend it for like a month. It's, I like you guys so far, but a lot of people don't say what they're going to do, especially overseas. And going back to my original point, who the fuck are we going to call? You're not going to call. The USA rules don't matter.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a good point, man. Like, I experienced this year. That's why I say they try to run it as a business, but they're not good as businessmen. Like, this is not even their sport. And I just like, with all due respect, man, I respect anybody for trying to play this gladiator sport. But at the end of the day, if you're going to run it like a business, get somebody that actually knows how to do this stuff. But like, it does come a long way. And some of these guys don't play about the money. And when these GMs and teams start playing with these players about their money, it's like, man, like I can't do I really can't do nothing about it. Like, what can you do? And I really have my hands tied with situations like this, because that's what happened to me my last year playing here in Poland. It's just like, man, I have nobody here. Like, my family is, like, I said, screw that. My family is basically my fiance, and that's it. Like, and she doesn't know anything about this whole thing either. So I'm just like, man, like I said, just got to keep pushing. But man, you hit the nail on the head with that one.
Gonna come and save the day. It's just
Nobody.
You.
Exactly, just
Mommy
me.
and Daddy are not flying over here, and even if they do, they're gonna say, "Get the fuck out of here." Well, you're
exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's just I'm trying to articulate all these points somehow in some beautifully written document. I don't know, just to explain to people, because like I said, what we're doing here is really weird, really unique. It's not luxurious, but it's a different form of lifestyle that I think a lot of other people can take many lessons from. And it is definitely like throw yourself into the fire or throw yourself in the deep end, and you either sink or you swim, right? You had these beautiful, amazing experiences, traveling the world, winning championships, developing relationships, understanding culture. And then on the flip end, it's like, fuck, you're all alone in this world. You're living your normal lives. You're living 5 years in 1 year. You're it's so crazy, right? And I try to, with the bold perceptions and whatnot, I try to figure it out for myself and then for other people to take something from it.
Like, from your takes are so amazing. Like, I'm telling you, man, when I first found out, you're the way you really see life now that you've going to all these places, I was like, man, I had to connect with you. But now that you explaining to me all this stuff about I found a lot of similarities of how you deal with a lot of things, when it comes to, being an import and, just seeing all these other countries. Cause man, I didn't realize a lot of us think the same way, but don't really live the same lifestyle, but we think the same way. And a lot of your point of views and your takes are just amazing. Man, I really enjoy, I'm telling you, man, I really enjoy seeing the stuff you post, because it's like, damn, bro, I knew I wasn't the only one that really thought this way, but damn, there's a lot of other people out here that's thinking the same way I do too. So I actually like a lot of the stuff you actually post and you actually say, even though some people may not agree, dude. I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy all that stuff, for real.
I appreciate it. And I think, well, especially because we're similar with the overseas football life, right?
Yeah.
Anyone that does this shit is weird. They're characters. They're not living normal routine. So for one, maybe we can think similar on things, but at least we understand okay, maybe this is why he has this perception, because I understand living my life that, just because everyone else thinks this way doesn't mean it's necessarily correct, right? And so we're all fucked up in this overseas world. Any American import, they either had some weird thing happen in the past, they're escaping something, you're playing for $1,000 a month in fucking Romania. What are you doing over there? Why? So we tick differently. And that's who I vibe with. I vibe with people that say, okay, fuck it. I'm going to go try to figure things out on my own. I'm going to try to live a unique experience and not just follow the grain,
Yeah. And I don't think everybody should follow that model, but they should try it. I think more guys should try it, because I believe people from back home are a little bit more narrow-minded to their view of the outside world. But doing this stuff really just made me open my eyes and open my mind to actually see a lot of the stuff I've been learning and actually been watching are not what it's really been portrayed as. So I think doing this stuff was a huge wake up call in my life. And I like I said, man, never ever would regret this stuff ever. Just big learning experiences every single year.
I think you made a really good point. Let me change that background. A really good point is you don't think everyone should do it, because I agree. I think if you are happy, I think if you feel things are good in your life, keep living that way. Ignorance is bliss, right? Who am I to fucking tell you that your 9 to 5 and your picket fence and all that isn't great if you feel great, right? Just because it's not for me, maybe it is someday, but doesn't mean I'm going to force it on you. And I think when I first started the traveling, I'm like, oh my God, you're stupid. You need to go see more. Like, what are you talking about? But I think as you go through this thing, you do realize that, okay, someone's definition of happiness is not your definition of happiness, right?
Exactly.
So you need to relax on that. But what you did say, and I think is true, is if you feel in your life that something is off, something doesn't feel correct, or I'm not, no one's always happy, right? But if you're less happy than you are happy, then go try some shit, right? Because I think once you do it, it's like your brain splits in half. Like, oh my God, I used to think this. I used to like this. Now what is this? And you start questioning everything, right? And that could be good.
Yeah.
That could be bad. Some people go fucking crazy with it. Some people are like, oh, okay. Now that I'm not next to my homeboys anymore, now I'm like in this foreign place. Like, oh, wow, I really do like Pokemon, or I really do like going to the museum, right? And back home, they would think I'm a fucking loser. But here, it's like, it doesn't fucking matter what people think of me, right? So I'm going to do what I like. And this makes me feel good. So you can really find out kind of who you are without being afraid of judgment from, because most people, they grow up in the same place, they know the same people, the same environment. And, a lot of who and what they are is defined by external factors.
Yes.
So you never really get to truly find out what is deep down inside and go for it, right? So I think I just said what you said. I tried expanding on it.
Yeah, man, because I never thought in a million years I'd be in this situation living in Europe. I never would have thought about it ever. So that was like, man, this is not as bad as I really thought it was. Never would have imagined. I'm from Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay, yeah. So a lot of dudes in Alabama have no fucking clue about the world outside of USA. So that
not a single clue.
Been through some massive cultural shocks.
Oh man, my first year in Poland, well, my first year overseas was the biggest cultural shock of my life. Thinking I had no idea about currency either. Nothing. My biggest shock was thinking I was getting paid $500 when I was really getting paid $100. Didn't know a damn thing.
For what team was paying you $100?
The Silesia Rebels was paying me $100 to come over here and play, to live in a hotel. This is 2018.
$100, bro?
Bro, like I said, I had no idea. So I'm like, okay, overseas, cool. I always wanted to go to Poland, but I'm scared that I might live so and so, So I'm like, fuck it, let's just go over here and see what the hell this thing is. I said, I'm gonna go play football. And now I get here and I'm like, holy shit, this is not what I thought it was gonna be. But did I have a great time? Hell yeah, because it's like, even though I'm living in a hotel, dude, I'm still hitting, females, I'm the only black guy in the area at the time. This is like, oh man.
And everyone thinks Poland is so racist, but black dudes have a blast in Poland. It's crazy.
I hate when people say that. I am not gonna lie. I hate when people say Poland is racist. Some people, the older people, it's the older generation. They don't understand, diversity. I think they don't understand diversity. The younger, our age group, our peers, our generation, more understanding because they're starting to, be around our culture and whatnot, and American culture and whatnot. So they understand. But yeah, I hate when people say that, Poland's racist. No, it's not. The older people, you're going to run into some older people who are definitely racist. Yes. But the entire country, no.
But bro, too, those older people, if you just stay out of the way, and first of all, Slavic people don't even talk to strangers, right? So maybe they give you an ugly look, but move on.
Exactly. That's all they do is just go look at you. Yeah. But if you just keep walking,
Yeah.
What is it? What's the problem? Just keep walking, like
Expand on this though, because I'm fascinated now. So Hutchins, that's a small town in Alabama, no?
Huntsville. It's actually a pretty big population now. So they're overpopulated now. So yeah,
Okay, well I've never heard of it, so it's not like freaking Mobile or nothing, right?
yeah.
So this
Nah.
dude is like, from Alabama, never probably traveled out of the country before, right?
At 21 years old, bro.
Gets sent to Poland, has no fucking idea what a zloty is, right? No
No,
idea.
nah, no.
Fucking name Warsaw, any city,
Yeah,
and he's getting paid
no idea.
$100 a month, which obviously in Poland, if you have your expenses paid, you can still not die off that, but it's not much, even in 2018. I mean, take me through that, like walking the streets, seeing the old buildings, like the Slavic mindset. I mean, how was your brain just blown? Like, dive into that.
My brain was like, man, I was thinking so much, like so many things. I'm like, it's cold, so I'm getting there. It's cold, and I think the worst thing about it was like, it wasn't just being there. It wasn't the city. It wasn't the food. It was I'm in another hotel. I'm in the same hotel room as a freaking black dude. And if you've been around black people, two black guys in one small hotel room is not gonna go well at all. So I'm just like, holy shit, like what am I doing? And so,
time out. They had you sharing a room too?
yeah, bro, I'm talking about a rookie. We're both rookies, and they're finessing the shit out of us.
6 months together, 5 months together in one hotel room.
Sadly, he got hurt 3 months in, so I had the whole hotel room to myself. It was cool.
Oh, but it's like you're 21 though. So it was like college kind of dorm, but geez, that's
but you couldn't cook nothing, so you had to spend those royalties every single week or every day.
But the same thing,
but I didn't know. My mindset is just like I'm still like I said, man. I just came from US, straight out of college in the US, and I'm just like, bro, what in the hell is this food? I didn't know what pierogies was. I didn't know what beetroots was. None of this stuff. So I'm spending money on food every day, and I think the worst thing about that was sharing a room with my fucking quarterback. And he's a clean freak, don't get me wrong, but when it got hot, it started getting nasty. It started to stink because we had pads, we didn't have a balcony, we had a window, and that's just like, bro, this shit smells like a rat's piss, and it was disgusting. So like my mindset there, it was like, oh man, like this isn't as bad as I thought it was, but I thought Polish people were gonna be mean. I thought it was gonna be a rundown city and stuff like that. But I also had to realize, like, okay, this team is not really professional as I thought it was. So fuck it, let's just play ball. So, so I just got over here, like, man, you know what? Let's just have fun with it.
I can't believe I've never stayed in the same room as someone. That seems like they were low on money or something. Because we did, like, me and normally, like, you have a apartment, right, 2-bedroom thing or 3, and then you have the roommate with you. I've also stayed alone. But yeah, thank God you do that your first year, because if you would have gotten that situation now, you'd probably been like, what the?
Man, look, I'm talking about, I'm a grown ass man that snores. So I know he was going through hell while he was there. So it was wild, man. Like, just my mind was going crazy, and both good and bad, but it was more good. So
yeah, so obviously, some people, they go over here. Like, I had to do it in Italy, my first year in Italy, who, played on the video game all night with the boys back home, didn't really explore the culture, kind of, and then he ended up getting kind of hurt, and then they just decided we're gonna send him home, right? And I think a lot of dudes, like, they either come over here, they thrive, and they do it for a long time, or it's like, fuck, this, I'm one and done, or like they self-destruct very fast, So obviously you didn't do that. Like, you liked it. And then after you're done, you're like, damn, why did you decide to keep doing it? Or did you think about going home and working, or what was your thought process?
Man, I'm glad you asked me that, because I've never told nobody this. I worked one job my whole life. I worked at McDonald's when I got kicked out of college. And I never want to ever work a 9 to 5 again. If I'm ever going to work, I'm going to work for myself. That shit drove me crazy. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want to go home because if I go home, I'm bored. If I'm gonna work, if I'm gonna work a 9 to 5, I'm gonna work for my fucking self because I don't like working with people who don't have the same mindset as me. I don't like working with people who has a different work ethic, who wants to half-ass for some money. So ever since I went home after my first year, I said, fuck it. I'm doing sports full fucking time. Not looking back. Ever since then, it's been going, it's been raising up higher and higher. So I don't mind working now. If I'm going to work fucking at home, remote or something. But I can't, man. I just want to keep doing it because it's like, it's too good to pass up on stuff like this. Not everybody's getting to do this stuff and you're traveling for free and living in places for free. So I'm just like, man, I can't pass up on this stuff no more. And I'm gonna just keep doing it till I can't no more. So now I found myself playing another sport. And it's just like, holy shit, is that easy? So yeah.
A couple points there. I like the whole burn the ships attitude, like when you go conquer the land, you say, you get rid of the ships, we're not leaving, we're going to conquer here. That's kind of what you did with the sports. And then we're going to talk about that, how you got into like another one with rugby, which is fascinating. But I was going to expand on your point about like this being the life. So like, I'm pretty blessed and, I make decent money outside of the football, which allows me to be traveling. You see, like I got pretty women around me, nice places, and I promise you, bro, as much as I've seen, as much as I've fucked, as many substances and partying and beaches I've been to, there is nothing, zero, nilch, that gets my dick harder than playing the football, in foreign countries or wherever, like with people that I think give a fuck about me or people I develop bonds with. And that emotion is so addicting. And even all the dudes that finish playing, whether the NFL guys, the baseball, like, and they become successful in business or do certain things, they always say, there's nothing that competes with or nothing that compares to that competition feeling, and they search for it anywhere else. And they say, okay, I can find it a little bit in business, but it's different. It's totally, totally different. And to me, just that, like, when I said the competition, the brotherhood, but also that purpose. Like, it's a singular purpose. We're all working together as this group. So many weird pieces we have to put together, give ourselves all in the field just to get to this one goal, the trophy. It's not like in life where, okay, do I want to go this direction and get this, or do I need the Lambo, or I want to do this or that, where it's all fucked, up. It's like clear. Everything is clear, and you're with a bunch of people who are with you in that vision. And it's beautiful, it's something I don't think can be replicated outside of war, outside of legit, like, killing people is the thing.
I agree, man. Nothing more beautiful than that, for real.
All right, hold on. You've been doing a lot of. I was going to ask you this. So the long-term thing. So you got the rugby. We can hop in. You're doing year-round sports now. I know you've been doing content, right? I've seen a lot of your vlogs. What is kind of like that long-term vision here? Play till the body can't play no more, but are you trying to build a social presence, a training presence? What is the vision?
It's funny you ask. I just had a conversation about this, like, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. So I've actually, because I started playing rugby, I've set myself up. I just finished a class this past weekend where I'm officially a licensed rugby coach now. So the club I'm with now is currently want me to be a youth coach and a second division coach, around the league. So my long-term plan is, when I'm done with football or I've gotten bored with it, which I kind of don't think I will be, I think I'm definitely going to get into rugby to coach. But long-term from now, definitely want to, like I said, I want to be in a situation or a position where I really want to work for myself, which possibly could lead to, working at a facility and becoming like a trainer or something, because I started rugby, I've met so many more connections, when it came to personal trainers, national team coaches with the sport of rugby. who are, fascinated with what the hell I'm doing here. And so because I've caught their eyes, they want to work with me a lot more. And I feel like that's something I really want to get more into because I have the resources, I have the mindset, I have the work ethic, and I'm definitely I have that drive to really just want to make it happen. So long term from now, I think rugby is going to be something that I'm going to stick with because it's even though I've done it for a short amount of time, it's became a more consistent income for me. Even though I'm not getting paid to play, but to get paid to coach and stuff like that, that's going to be a much more long term thing for me than football would be, I believe. But don't get me wrong, if I'm called for football, I'm called for football. Just going where the money is and opportunity. So that's really where I see myself long term from now.
And you made a good point about the connections, man. Oh my God, so many connections around the world, people, places, and you got to remember too. There's a lot of people on these teams that actually have money or do some like small business. Or president of my Danish team, they own like one of the biggest bicycle companies in Denmark, and there's more bicycles. There's like 3 times as many bicycles in Denmark than people. I have plenty of other like examples of dudes who are like, some dude that's like a scrub and his family is a freaking owns this and that. It's like, holy shit, right? So the connections in this is unreal. But I also like what you say about leveraging like your uniqueness in the rugby world in Poland. Like for one, obviously American. I mean, Americans play rugby. 2, a football player transitioning into rugby. But also, I guarantee what's helped you is the content you made. Like, this is the difference in rugby or football, the rugby. And I've seen some of those videos and they did really well. And that's great, dude. Strike while it's hot. Meet all these different people, and if you love it, then perfect. It's a match made. But I love this though. This is what's beautiful. For burning the ships overseas, the traveling, it's like just all of a sudden things happen. Like because you took that risk, you went against the grain, and the universe rewards you. I bet the story of how you started playing rugby is pretty trippy, no? And that's what I'm saying. And now look what it's leading to. It's leading to all these different aspects and so forth. And that's a good lesson for every single person is once you step out of the little comfort zone or what you're supposed to do, and you take the arrows and the sticks and the stones that everyone throws at you or society, and you beat it, then the universe is like, oh, this dude's real. This dude is not a joke. So let's give him a push. Let's give him some energy. And they throw shit at you that you would never imagine in your life. Just like you said, from middle of fucking nowhere, Alabama, from my opinion, to now world traveler, 7 years in Europe and now maybe a rugby career, and he ends up one of the greatest coaches in Australia. I don't fucking know, but it's neat. Yeah. That's a good lesson for people.
Yeah, it's definitely something I told myself I would never play it. Told myself I would never do it. It's just like, okay, you're bored and you have 4 more months before you get back into football. Do something. So little did I know when I started this stuff, I didn't think I was going to enjoy it, but it was hard. It's a lot hard to transition from this to that. But when I started, I'm like, crap, man. But little did I know this was going to help me long term with football too, because I saw an increase in my performance. I saw an increase in my mentality. Next thing you know, you get what you put in, you get out what you put in or something like that. Whatever they say, all the hard work and, the extra stuff that actually like transitioned and elevated me to like, push myself to do stuff I told myself I'd never do. It really showed me who I was as a person. And if I could leave home, why couldn't I play something I told myself I'd never do? So I feel like I feel like my personality is so strange compared to what I really thought it was when I used to live back home. Because I'm telling you, my life was a lot different living in the States than it is living in Europe. I know who I am now. I didn't know who I was when I first came over here at all.
That's what I was saying before about the Pokemon and the museum stuff. Because like when you grow up in an environment, since you're a little boy, you are shaped by pretty much everything externally. You don't want to be that weirdo guy because then like overseas, for example, okay. like, great. If I don't like someone or I go on a date and it's bad after a minute, like, hey, excuse me, I don't mean, to be rude, but I don't enjoy this. Goodbye. If I'm back
Yeah.
home in the same environment and she knows this person and that person, you don't do that. You sit and put up with it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And, this is good. But, though, when you're on your alone, it's you. Like, you're very selfish with your time. And it's just like, okay, this is what it is. Right. And you're not held down by societal programming, the cultural, the religion, your family, your friends, your peers, your city, right? It's just you, and you got to figure shit out for yourself, right? And but I've had those points too. Like I still am very similar to who I was when I growing up. Because I was always like out of the box. Like I was living a similar lifestyle, not really giving a fuck what this person or that person said. Like I'll tell you some stories, and I think I just elevated to the next level, and but also like, going outside the USA, like I was like style, now I like eating all the cultural food, my music taste, like, how I view different things. Of course, yeah, that changes, but I think, and tell me if it's different. Were you just a shy little kid growing up, or you said you got in trouble in college? So obviously you were a misfit, like what I'm saying I was.
I wouldn't say it was like legitimate trouble because I never got in trouble with the law. But it had a lot to do with the junior college, man. Like, just the only trouble I had was with myself. I did not take shit serious because in my ear, I didn't want to listen to, what the right people were telling me. I want to follow the crowd. Like when I grew up, man, I was athletic as shit. But I was in the Boy Scouts. I did Boy Scouts my whole childhood. I was playing sports, but not organized. So I was doing Boy Scouts way more than sports. I was athletic as hell, but I was rebellious as hell too. And I was just awkward. I didn't think highly of myself. Nobody told me how, what my ceiling was. Nobody told me anything. I just had to figure this shit out as I went. And that's why I feel like now that I'm somewhere where I'm out of my comfort zone, where I'm not around my mom, I'm not around my family, I just figure this shit out as I go. And now that I'm like connecting with people who are in a similar situation, or now that I'm around people that have, been through some shit for real, it's like, damn, okay, this was on me. Like everything I've done was on me because I didn't listen. So I believe because of the stuff I did and because of my actions when I was little, I think it created me into a guy that found out who I was in my early 20s. Because like I said, I didn't know how athletic I was. I didn't know that I could do all these sports and and be as as influential as I am to coaching youth as I thought. Because back home, I'm limited to do so many, my hands are tied in certain situations. So just being outside of home and seeing what people are allowing me to do and utilize my gifts, it made me realize that, man, I'm really blessed to be in like a situation like this because I get to show who I am now that I never got to show that at all. So now my family sees it. And now that these people back home see it, they're like, okay, would you like to, have the opportunity to, come back? I'm like 2 years ago, I got the job offer of a lifetime back home, and I'm not even qualified to do it. And they didn't care about the qualification; they just wanted me to do it. And so I'm just like, I can't do it. like I said, I would not want to go back home and be miserable, be suicidal, because that's not my happy place. My happy place is, seeing the world, not seeing the city. So that's really where this whole this whole thing comes from. Is just my baby steps to my setbacks, from there to now. And it's just realizing, damn, bro, I'm really I'm really living like something unique right now. So
yeah, I was kind of getting at that rebel, the spirit, but that was good.
Yeah.
Good monologue you just got into. I think that is very interesting, the self-belief aspect. Like I said, I've been very lucky. My father installed in me similar to what Kanye's mother installed in him. That delusional, just do what the fuck you want and deal with the consequences, but believe you can do anything type mindsets. And
Yeah.
so I can't necessarily relate, but I can see like growing up in an environment and not getting that those words of affirmation or whatnot, and then also going overseas, and then some people being like, "Damn, like, you're really good at this," or like, "Why don't you do this?" And then it just totally blows your mind. Like, this whole time I thought I needed this qualification, this and that, but these people are telling me like, "No, you're already legit." And then you start questioning everything, like, "Oh, what more can I do?" This is very similar with like making money and whatnot, where people are like, "Oh my God, this amount of money per month, or what I can ask for doing this job is crazy." And then some dude's like, "What the fuck you mean? Like, they're giving me 15 grand to do this. Like, you just need to ask." Like, people are so like, limiting, self-belief, limiting with everything, whether it's lifestyle, money, woman, anything. And I think that's interesting. You found that the shackles kind of taken off you, when you're out on your own, overseas and so forth. I was going to ask you, so was back home, because this is for a lot of people, going back with the external influences and kind of pigeonholing you into a box, was like crabs in a bucket type mentality? Does a lot of people go through that?
No, a lot of people did. That's hard to explain too, because I really stayed to myself most of the time. Like, I didn't party, I didn't do none of like I didn't do nothing. So that's really hard to explain.
I guess my version of crabs in the bucket is what I said before about everything externally telling you who you are, and I think that happens for mostly everyone growing up. Yeah, it's you're gonna stay here. This is our life. You're gonna grow up this way, and don't look to New York, don't look to LA, don't look to anything bigger in this world.
Actually, yeah, I take that back. Yes, because I went to junior college in New York. Nobody wanted me to go. They wanted me to stay close to home. For what reason? I don't know. I think now that I've came to realize this, it's like there's a lot of people that told me, I need to stay in one place and don't need to move around so much. I went from New York to Kansas. It was difficult to process, like, why not? Like, you don't want me to get out and see the world? I'm thinking seeing the world is going to the United States, going around different states to live, but that wasn't the case. For me, I did not have any type of affirmation. I did not have any type of confirmation. I didn't have none of this stuff from any of my family or my friends. I had the wrong people in my ear. As a guy growing up, all I had was my 5 cousins who I grew up with, literally, and they literally told me, "Fuck everything else. You gotta do what you gotta do." And we're literally kids, not even 13. Five of us literally saying this to ourselves. I think it was mainly my family who wanted me to stay in one place. Because like I said, nobody but one person, I think it was one person, who saw some potential in what I could do and the places I could go. But it was just lack of support, I believe, for real.
Let me defend them. Let me defend your family in a bigger picture for my whole argument of growing up and the external factors. It's to protect you. It's literally to, okay, hey, stay here. We have security. We have this. You have your family. We're in this together. It's not out of bad faith. Some people are jealous. Some people are like, "Oh, yeah, I never did it, so fuck this guy." But for the most part, a lot of people, especially your family, like, protect them. Like, even my mom to this day, worried about me and all that kind of stuff and so forth. And, luckily my dad handles that and, let the kid go into the fire and see what happens. But that is, a lot of people deal with that. And then they turn around and, my family, this and that. But for the most part, unless there's some narcissistic, those type of weirdo parents that, hate their kids, it's just protecting. And they don't know anything different, bro. And that is the best thing about the internet. I talk so much about this internet, how about it's like Pandora's box and the evils of it and whatnot, but it is allowing you to get these perceptions now. It's on you to find the good ones and not consume the bad ones. But there's a shit ton of people on this internet trying to expand your limiting beliefs and give you the courage and the motivation to do it. I mean, I bet you've seen it all over. You see examples of people, and some are bullshit, some are fake, but there's a lot of good people out there who are really trying to give you what, maybe your parents didn't give you. So
yeah, I can see that. I can see that too. Yeah,
it's like your content. You're doing it.
I'm trying to, but it's kind of hard to, but there's a lot of stuff I can't put out right now because it's kind of crazy. But yeah, no, I agree. I agree with everything you said. Some of the stuff I believe were to protect me because, like I said, I really don't think I should have been in some of the places that I should have been to start. But I just felt like, being home and not seeing the world or going outside of my home state really kept me narrow-minded, or not like just closed-minded, not narrow-minded, but closed-minded of like the reality of life. Because how would I have known that Poland, how would I have known what the hell the capital of Poland was? I didn't pay attention to school, like I told you. Like, this goes back to me not paying attention or taking my grades serious. How would I have known that, it's easy to move from one place to another in Europe? Or how would I have known what a third world country is or something like that? Like,
and not knowing anything about currency? I can't believe you went
that
to a
too.
country to know that.
The hell no, bro. I'm talking about, because you know how the contracts, they be like, we'll pay you so and so euros. I knew what euros is, or US dollars. This contract had nothing about their currency at all. So they was just like, exactly. So I didn't pay attention to none of this shit. Like I said, I'm a rookie. Didn't know nothing about overseas. So I said, oh, okay, here we go. It says 500. We'll pay you 500. Not knowing it was some bullshit contract. But hey, you live and you learn, man. I learned a lot from that shit too. So my second year in Brazil, they was paying me, I think it was like what? They was paying me like not 500, I think like $300. Yeah, that's pretty good for Brazil. That was pretty good.
2019?
Yeah, that was pretty good for them.
Yeah.
But they was partnered with their soccer team. Huh?
I have my buddy. So here's another part about the connections. He owns a construction company. He's got 28, 29 construction workers for him. He builds like 32 unit apartment buildings. Sweet government funding deals. It's fucking crazy. But he pays each of those guys, and they usually at 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, $280 a month. This is 2023. In the Northeast, so it's a little more poor compared to the south part, but $280 a month. So you're making $300. You have no expenses. You have rent. You have all that. Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
That's really crazy. Wow. Yeah, that just puts it just gives you that perspective that damn, we're really blessed to be doing this stuff.
Life is good. Yes.
Yeah, like just you learn that, you figure this stuff out. You're like, bro, there is no way that life is really this way. So when people say, "Oh, you ain't making nothing overseas," bro, you don't know how they live. Like, you don't know like their minimum. You don't know their salary. So it's like, bro, it's so, like I said, this is so shocking just to be in stuff just be mercenaries in situations like this. Because it's not what you make in the States, but it's definitely livable and it's definitely doable for you to move from point A to point B and see the world and have fun, especially you doing something you want to do or you love doing.
It's all relative, and not maybe those guys, even though every time I saw them, they were, oh boy, GI, Beleza, it looked like they were, somewhat happy with life. But I know people that are making the decent money, $600-700 a month in Brazil, and their life's far more fulfilling, far more exciting than many of the Americans I know making six figures, and so you put things relatively. I always say this too. My buddies in Bologna, one of them's like a 35, 36 now year old playboy. He's a model. He also owns like a party thing for little kids. He puts on parties with the inflatables and all that kind of shit. And I assume he makes probably 35,000 euros a year, which is decent money in Italy. And it seems like that's 38, 39 grand a year USD. And you're like, oh my God, that's poverty. Fucking McDonald's manager makes more than that, right? And this dude lives more in 1 year than most Americans do in probably 10 years. Like, I'll say, hey, Nick, I'm in London partying. Oh, I go to Ibiza. He has this little motorized skateboard that he goes through the city center of. He's wearing APs. Yeah, it's all a perception shift too. My biggest thing was probably, well, Italy was shocking with how good they live with how little they make. But when I was in Florianópolis, Brazil in 2021, I shit you not, spending around $1,500 to $2,000 a month. I was on the beach. Like I'll show you a video of it. It's on the Instagram. I would have a different girl every other day come to my place. I would be drinking bottles of wine. I would get hundreds of pieces of sushi delivered for $10. Literally king. $1,500 to $2,000 depending on if I went and bought clothes that month. That's what I was living on. I mean, when I first grew up, I thought I would need millions of dollars to live that life, you know? And it was one of the biggest perception, shocks I've had. And thank God for the USD. Thank God for being born in a country with immense power. I hope it stays that way. But the world is a big place, 100%. And we are very blessed to see it. So hold on. Before we wrap it up here, let's just go into where you've been, learn more about what you're doing with the YouTube, why you're doing it. And then we'll wrap it up. You got some time here? Another 30 minutes?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, man. Yeah, of course.
So let's go through these countries. So Poland first. That was your first country. You've already hit on a little bit, but give me biggest surprises, places to go, what you loved, what you hated, a synopsis.
My biggest surprise was finding out that there's actually a fucking beach up north in Poland, and it's very enjoyable. It was amazing to actually see that, go experience it, and it was so damn cool. And even though I had that little bit of money, enjoyed myself to the fullest. Definitely loved it. I think one of the craziest things, one of the negatives was that a lot of people will make time. Well, a lot of people will make time not only to show you around. A lot of people wouldn't show me around my first year, so I had to do it myself. So I think that's one of my biggest takeaways. But other than that, find out there's a beach in Poland up north and just enjoying myself. Yeah, I was in Sopot.
Okay. Casinos right up there?
Oh, yeah. God. Yeah. If only I had the money. But yeah, I think that was one of my biggest surprises about Poland.
Yeah, Poland's amazing. I did a long podcast with a pretty big YouTuber there, Vigo's dad. We talk about every inch of Poland on there. And so if you guys are more interested in that, check it out. Yeah, Poland has my heart. I had a lot of great times. Won the championship. That was nice. But beautiful country. It's only going to get more and more developed. They're talking about being one of the top dogs in Europe. And
my dog keeps barking. Yeah.
You have a dog overseas?
This is me and my fiance and I's dog. Yeah.
She Polish?
Yeah.
Smart man. You like to slap?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry if he keeps barking. I apologize, man.
It's fine. Where'd you go next?
Then I went to Brazil in Caxias do Sul for Juventude FA.
How long?
I only played for the spring tournament. I didn't stay all year round because, man, their organization was going bad, man. It was a bad situation. I ended up leaving after.
T-Rex?
It was Juventude FA. They had like a soccer program out there. It was like in the South, had like a traditionally good soccer program, so they was partnered with them, but they wanted to stop the cooperation with the soccer team, so they ended up folding, and now they're like another name, so they're just like rebuilding from like the ground up now. So
what city though? Is that the Catarina, the state? Like what state?
I don't even know this, man. I don't know none of that stuff like at all. All I know is it was in.
How many people?
I couldn't even tell you that. Like, I don't even know like any of it. All I know is it was in Caxias do Sul. That's all I knew. I don't even know where this what state it was in or nothing. I said, "Oh, Brazil, it's cool." So I'm gonna just go. Like that's another one of the things. Like I'm just going places I don't even know nothing about or nothing. So,
did they have like a city center? Was it favelas? Was it
not a city center? No beach, no nothing. This was this is like. Yeah, this is like the country.
So you're the only gringo there, probably.
Yep.
And did you have a good time? Brazilian girl?
Brazilian girls, man. I've had more Brazilian she ladies hit on me. I'm telling. All right, honest to God, truth. I didn't hit nothing out there. I didn't touch not a single. I just hit nothing. Not touch a single thing. I've been hit on by she ladies more than freaking.
Oh, trannies. Yeah, there's a lot of trannies in Brazil. But if you're in the middle of nowhere, I'm surprised there's that many because usually in the interior they're very traditional.
So I was living beside a club, and they were all at that club. I don't know what they were doing. Like, I didn't know that they were in the South like that, but they were at this club beside where I was living. All of them were out there. So everyone I tried to holler at or talk to, she lady. So many trannies out there, man. So I was scared, didn't touch nothing at all.
You went to Brazil, and you're lying. Your fiance is listening right now.
No, dude, I promise. I say this. I tell anybody that asks me, oh, how many girls did you hit? I hit 0. I saw the most beautiful, bro. Brazil, top 3 most beautiful females besides Slavic. I say Slavic is number 1, but Brazilian, number 2 at least. But I promise, I didn't hit nobody at all.
Okay. So what'd you learn from that experience? Did you like it? Did you have fun or what?
Too much fun, honestly. It was, like I said, it was my teammates. My guy Mauricio, who I still have contact with today. Mauricio and Eduardo, who is the president, have good contact with them. So, hey, had the fun with them. That he took me to parties, all this stuff, experienced all this, and man, tried some good food, liquor, the fruit, amazing. So, yeah, best time of my life for sure.
Best time of your life?
One of the best times of my life, because it was just they would party a lot. Like those guys in the countries, in the South, those guys would party so damn much. It was wild.
Where'd you go next?
Then I went back to Poland, and then COVID started. So,
Yeah, Silesia.
Yep, Silesia, and then after that, 2021, I was in Silesia again, and it's the same old stuff. This home. Then I went to Romania. This is where the shit started getting crazy. I went to Romania. It was Rashica. So I'm in the south towards Timișoara, which is 5 hours away from Bucharest. Yeah. This shit was the most strange thing ever because this is a city where I think it's like 5,000 people. A city of 5,000 people, and I'm one of the first black guys. Like this would have been like 4 black guys to play for that damn team. Yeah. So all these people are just walking up, taking pictures, and I'm just like, bro, what the fuck? So they want to take pictures and stuff, and I think my biggest surprise was just seeing how welcoming they were. I felt like I had the fucking keys to that city, and if I went back again, like right now, I could do whatever the fuck I wanted to. I knew the police do it. No, not anything like illegal, but I had the keys to that fucking city. I felt like it was crazy.
This is not Timarosa. By Timarosa?
Timișoara, yes.
No. How far is it from Timarosa?
Timișoara is like 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay, because Timarosa looks beautiful. That looks like a nice city.
God, that's a blast too. Have you ever like plan on going there?
I want to. I want to go visit the whole.
You need to. You need to. Romania is the cheapest, most fun place. I think. Yeah.
Bucharest ain't no more. Bucharest is super international. The price has gone crazy.
Yeah, it's way too expensive. Timișoara is definitely a place you gotta go because when we went to Timișoara, those people treated us like you were fucking like they love Americans. Like Timișoara, Rashica love Americans so much. Black, white doesn't matter. If they find out you're American, hey.
I heard it's similar. Well, now the war is a little different, but in Serbia, in some parts, even though they got fucked with the Kosovo thing, and there's some arguments, but I felt that in Białystok because like not many Americans are in the far east of Poland, next to Belarus, even though it's a bigger city. It's like, oh, American, is it like the movies, Hollywood and the jeans, and especially the older people. So like you said, they don't necessarily fuck with the black dudes, but the white dudes are like, oh my god, they grew up underneath the curtain, Yeah. They're like, okay, like, is it really like this? And they have someone translates, and it's a weird and cool experience to get like that someone's so fascinated with just like where you're from, and and it really does make you appreciate what USA built, and even the Hollywoods and our global dominance, because people, I think what fucked us up is TikTok. I think now everyone sees the day-to-day of American. They see the hardships, the struggles. Before it was just Hollywood propaganda, basically, right? And obviously that's not the average American's life, but America is still amazing and many opportunities, and I hope we keep that and not just bash. We have so many Americans that just bash America, and everyone else sees it, and now they start saying, "Oh, America's a shithole." I've had people in third world countries tell me like, "No, I see TikTok. USA is crime in a shithole." I said, "Okay."
I was like, hold up.
Yeah, I bash the USA a lot, but you need to be respectful.
Yeah.
I can bash it. You can't bash it.
Yeah. Exactly. I say the same thing. After that, after Romania, I went to Germany. My first year, I was in Bavaria. I was in Landsberg, small city. I think it's 45 minutes outside of Munich. And I went back to Romania. No. Let me go back. Germany. That was where I felt like it was they tried to make football into a damn business, because it was fun. It was one of the most professional organizations I've ever, professional structured organizations I played for, but they tried to control so much. It was so much control over there. It was crazy. It's a very,
You guys won though.
Yeah, we won. The team, my head coach has a very good structure. He's a very good coach, very good, guy off the field, on the field. But the management just made stuff a lot more difficult to, operate, because that city is small, but they everybody was watching. They was telling people to, hey, watch, because they gave us cards with teams' names on it. I can't hear you.
I thought you meant like everyone cared of the program, but you're saying like off the field, you got eyes on and stuff.
Oh, they do. Oh, they do. They did care. Like, bro, we had like 2,000 people at the games and stuff like that. Basically the whole community. So it was cool. But they had our names on a card, so they was telling people, hey, if you see one of the Landsberg cars do some illegal activity or something, call the police, stuff like that. Hey, come tell us, or But I guess they want to protect names, so that's understandable. But it got to the point where it was kind of controlling. But it was still a good time. Get some German beer, Helles, all that stuff, Oktoberfest and whatnot. So after that, it was still Romania again. Again, had the keys to the city, did whatever I wanted to. Same result, relationship ended right there. I felt like I couldn't do much. So it is what it is.
So if I go to that city, I'm going to be treated like a king if I say I know you?
Trust me, I guarantee you, if you go to that city and say you know me, they're gonna be like, "Oh God, Cal, pause it." It was just a picture. They're gonna be like, "Yeah," I swear to God, you'll get whatever you fucking want if you go to that city and say you know me. Watch, Nick, I promise. Watch, just watch it. So, where did I go after that? Oh, I went back to Germany, and this is my last. This is where we're at right now. I went to Germany, won the championship. Same old. Still having fun out there. So now we're just at this point where Serbia is next, and so seeing what's coming up.
Yeah, I'm so interested in Serbia. I want to visit there so bad. I've talked on and off throughout the years with teams there, and I never pulled the trigger. I think I wanted to be in Belgrade, and I always talked to the team in the south. And but I'm definitely gonna go visit there. I think
have to.
I've heard so many good things. I heard an Italian legendary playboy I know. He's like 65 years old. He told me, "Nick, I've been around the world, and Nick, the best place for girls is Novi Ska, is north of Belgrade.
Novi Sad, possibly. Yeah, Novi Sad. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, "Nick, I promise you, if you go there, it's paradise on earth." I said, "Oh wow." And I heard they got great cafe culture. Everyone smokes, and I like the Slavic people. I really do, because to me, for the most part, I think they're real people. They won't be nice to you at the start. You have to get to know them, and once you crack the shell, it seems like okay, now we're friends, until it ends, right? And that
Yeah.
I like that, even though I come off pretty open at the start, and friendly, but it's the same as how I would treat you after I knew you for 6 months, right?
Right.
So I don't like fake facade. I think there's some cultures, like especially Brazil, it's the happiest thing in the world, and then we don't talk ever again. It's, to me, it's fake. I don't like.
Yeah.
I like the Slavic realness. So I think you're gonna have a great time there. Tell me last thing. Okay, YouTube. You've been posting. You chronicled your football journey. What's the goal with it? What can people expect from it? Why should they watch it?
Honestly, I'm only doing this because I want people to see the real me. Like, I'm not putting on I'm not putting on any fake. I want people to see the real me and what imports really, get when they go to these opportunities and the treatment they get. And my whole purpose for that channel is just to be authentic, to give an authentic import, point of view or perspective. Because a lot of the times I come across YouTube channels where they're like the day in the life of an import where, you get up, you brush your teeth. All right, cool. No, my whole day in the life is actually showing you the legitimate shit. Like, what goes on, within the program, what your coach is really like, who, your teammates are really like, what your imports are really like. And I just feel like I want my channel to get to where it's a real import, perspective and not some, a good boy for a good contract YouTube channel. Nah, I don't like faking about who I am. So that channel is all it's for the sole purpose of being authentic. And so the content is gonna come out for like the next, I think is like what, in like a week or so. That's gonna it's gonna get even more crazier because we're going to Serbia, and so I'm around my college teammate. This is my roommate I'm going to play with, so it's definitely going to get even more authentic or more real because, like I said, I don't like to fake it. So that whole channel is just to give a real perspective on what the import life is really like, and not what somebody really is trying to perceive it as. Like, no, it's not really as good as you think, but it's not as bad as you think either. It can be what you make it. It's all about the mindset and the way you treat it.
So basically, to help out a 21-year-old Davion, that kind of person. You're trying to help out when you first came over, give him the scoop.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Because I don't want people to make the same mistakes I made over here. I don't want people to burn bridges as early without them being solidified as a legitimate import here. So I really don't want anybody to make the same mistakes I did. So I want them to actually get a real look and see what it's like and how you have to act towards, the time and the place, and not be an asshole, towards these organizations, because they're bringing you here on their dime, not your dime. Sometimes their dime, but on their dime, and they expect you to be a certain way, but not 24/7, only the time and place to. So that's why I give the in practice shots, like, the action footage and the off the field stuff. So,
well, and also it's a small world, bro. And he said, she said, so just go out respectfully.
Exactly.
And because they all fucking talk, and unless you got money to back it up, you're at will to these people. So you got to play the game. If you can't play politics, then go back to small town Alabama and work at McDonald's, right? So you've navigated it.
Yeah.
You've navigated it in a good way by still staying authentic. But now I think you're trying to, help the younger dudes coming over. And I think that's great. I think that's beautiful. Can anyone else relate to it? It's good to niche, like you said you're doing. But can the person who listens to Bull Perception, doesn't give a fuck about overseas football, will they like your channel, or is there anything for them?
I mean, to each his own. I really can't say if anyone will like it. So, if they like it, they like it. If they don't, then, it is what it is.
Leave it at that.
I don't get paid for it. I mean, I don't get paid for it. So, just something for you to watch and, just skip through and see what the fuck happens. So, yeah, so.
I think they could get a nice cultural perspective, American dude in overseas places. And it's not just like go to this restaurant or do any of that. There's more in-depthness to it. You speak pretty real on there, like you're having a conversation and open. So I like it. I've seen a lot of your vlogs, and I hope you keep doing it. But amazing. Can the people contact you for any advice, whether it be overseas ball, whether it be traveling, just to shoot the shit with you?
Yes. The only way I'm going to respond to that is on Instagram. I'm not going to answer you on Twitter. I'm not going to answer you on Facebook, because if you shoot me your film on Facebook, I'm blocking you. I'm sorry, because I have too many of that. But yeah, underscore DUYOU11. Instagram underscore DU11. So, so contact me there. Do not send me your film, because I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to put a word in for you. I don't have that power. I can barely put myself on a good team myself. So
you're talking about dudes telling you to play overseas. They want you to get you on a team.
Yes, and I have no power doing that. So if you have advice, I would love for anybody to ask me advice. But to get you in contact with a team, I can't do that. I'm sorry. Just being honest.
That's different. No doubt. Awesome. I appreciate it, buddy. It's a fun time, hour and a half. It's good to talk face to face. You know, we've been social media for a while, and keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully we catch up in person one day.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if you ever come to Belgrade, let me know. I will be glad to host you. Me and my guy will be glad to host you for real, bro.
Appreciate it.
Keep up the content, man. Hey, see ya.